Yeah, I suppose I think we're 10 points down with 4 minutes to go. So kicking those couple of goals was obviously handy. But then when Goods took the mark, I pretty much thought we're gone. And from my angle, it looked like it was in and then out. So yeah, it's been a really interesting year for us in terms of coming in as a new group, and we've had some good wins, some poor losses, and and a couple of games like that. So you'd have to say the Essendon supporters got their value for money so far this year.
Did you think they looked out on their feet with 5 or 6 minutes to go? Could you see them rustling up another surge?
I thought the game went pretty much every quarter the same, and that was that Sydney would come out and put enormous pressure on us. We're able to break through the pressure in the back end of quarters and kick some goals sort of late in quarters. And we're still confident that the pressure was going to break a bit towards the end of the last quarter and we kick goals. But you never know with a young side whether they're capable of doing it every quarter. So I think it was a really, really terrific effort from our boys to come back, and a fantastic effort from Sydney. Sydney losing Jared McVeigh before the game, and one of their fantastic runners, and coming away. And I don't know what the game looked like as a spectacle, but I would have thought for the neutral observer it was a really good game, and all credit to Sydney in the way they played. They're a really hard team to play against, and like John Longmire's doing a great job.
This one keeps the ball in your court too, doesn't it, as far as the rest of the year goes?
Yeah, I mean, we can't afford to look too far ahead. I think we've got 3 games to go, and Western Bulldogs, West Coast, and Port, and you'd have to say that if we win 3 of them, we'll obviously definitely make it, and win 2 of them, we might, and win 1 of them, we won't. So, I think for our players after the season they had last year, I think they're just excited their season's alive, so that's a good thing.
Are they getting the belief back that when it is on the line in the last 2 minutes of the match, they can be the ones that win it?
Yeah, well, except for obviously the last 2 weeks when we've come against a very good opposition, Geelong, Richmond, and Adelaide, when we've had to fight to the death, we've won those games, and I think that is a really good. It's a good sign for a team that they believe they can win games. What we would like is that occasionally we had a bit of a buffer and the games weren't so close. But a win against Sydney any time is a fantastic win.
You've said all along this year it's about improvement. Fair enough, obviously, considering where you come from last year. But would it be disappointing now not to make the finals, considering where you've got yourself to with a few games to play?
It's disappointing if our players didn't continue to improve, and continue to improve in games. And I think that. I'm not sure what you guys think, whether you think we've improved, but I look at our individuals and I watch the way they train, the way they play, the way they learn and become AFL players, and I have seen improvement. If we make the finals, I think it'll be a very good reward for those players. And if we don't, obviously it'll be disappointing. But we have to continue to improve, not just for the last part of this season, but for the next 2 or 3 years, if we want to compete with the best teams in the competition.
As a coach, do you feel almost powerless when Adam Goods is in form like that?
It's very hard. I mean, Adam was getting the ball in the midfield, he's getting the ball in the forward line, and Heath Hocking's an excellent player and had a fantastic year for us, and he was unable to stop him at certain times. So I said before the game, he is an absolute star and very hard to stop, and it proved to be correct. And there aren't many players who you have as many worries about before the game as Adam Goods, because he was just brilliant tonight, and was probably almost, obviously almost won them the game.
Do you feel you got out of jail a bit given that kick 2-9 in that last quarter?
A little bit. I think, what was the score? It was 14-15 to 15-10 off. Yeah, so, maybe. But there's been, occasions this year where we've kicked poorly and not won ourselves and had a lot of the ball. So I think it was a pretty even contest, and either side probably had their chances to win it.
What did you have to do to wrestle back that momentum, sort of, as George was saying? I mean, I think they had about 7 or 8 scoring shots in the first 12 minutes of that last quarter. What was the key sort of point in terms of getting it back their way?
It was just our ball movement. Try and get the ball and move it properly, and not try and play into Sydney's hands. I mean, their contested ball, their tackles, their ability to win, contests is as good as anyone. So, do you butt up against them, head to head, or you try and play a bit differently? And we were trying to go up against them in what they were really good at, and we probably had to try a few different things that they're not as good at.
How important was Ori's Dustin Fletcher with that young key defensive duo you've got there?
Sorry, how important?
How important is he just in terms of your mix, obviously, with your younger defenders back there?
Yeah, well, I mean, Jake Carlisle was excellent again tonight. Hardingham was good. Dave Myers was good. But what having Fletch there does for them is a bit of a safety net for them, and he covers for them when they're out of position and teaches them along the way. So we can't underestimate Dustin Fletcher's contribution, what he does on the field with his own contribution in terms of spoils, marks, handballs, shepherds, but then the way he coaches his teammates and improves them is just exceptional. So the Essendon Footy Club will be a very sad place when he retires, and I think we've got him for next year almost. So we've almost spoken and agreed on something there. So he'll be good for us for a long time.
When it came out that Michael Hurley had sort of had a bit of a foot problem, you sort of indicated that it might be a 2 or 3 week thing. Given the importance of the match, were you really, really tempted to obviously rush him and Heath Hopkins back, or were they just ready?
Heath's an interesting one. We thought he had a much more serious injury than he actually turned out to have, and we gave him a couple of weeks off, thinking that he was probably going to go for the rest of the year. But scans we had were inconclusive then, and then the next scan we had 2 weeks later showed that it wasn't as bad as we first thought. So Heath should be right for the rest of the year. Michael's a week-to-week proposition. He's got a sore foot. He's going to work through it, and we will play him when we can, and when we can't, we can't. And the bravery he shows to get out there at the moment is exceptional. So you've got a very high-quality person in Michael Hurley.
If this were a match that didn't have so much riding on it, would have you maybe erred on the side of caution and not play?
I think every match for us has a lot riding on us, so he'll be playing when he can for the rest of the year.
Does anyone else come into the mix next week for the Bulldogs?
Yeah, Tate Pears should be fine. Andrew Welsh got through. Nathan Lovett-Murray got through. Scott Gumballen got through a game. And there's probably 1 or 2 others. But yeah, so there's 3 or 4 more to come back in. I think even Trav Collier might be okay. Might just be okay on the fringes. So we're starting to get some players back. Hopefully it's not too late.
So Gumballen, is he a realistic chance? Is he in the mix?
He is in our mix. I mean, it really, I suppose the thing for Scott is that there's, he's got Carlisle, he's got Hurley, he's got Ryder, he's got Hill, there's Cranmery, all playing around those sort of spots. So he's in our mix, and whether we've got 3 games to go, whether we've got 4 games to go, you need your whole list, and things can happen. So Scott's definitely in the mix.
Do you get injuries out tonight?
I hope not. You're never sure till Monday, seriously. I mean, we've got a few knocks and bruises, but normally they surface about Monday. But I'm pretty confident that we're okay.
You're just not guessing anything?
Well, every time I say that, we have 3 blokes miss, so I'll just cross my fingers and touch wood, yeah. Thanks, guys.